Evening, friends. Shavua Tov. It is night 36 on the Elul Screen challenge, journeying towards Yom Kippur, reading passages from Inner Work, the teachings of Rav Ashlag. Page 61. Yirat Hashem is being concerned to act only in a way that is appropriate to the glory of God. This is not out of concern for oneself, but rather from great love of God. Yirat Hashem is being concerned to act only in a way that is appropriate to the glory of God. Yirat Hashem means being in awe of God. Other times traditionally translated as being in fear of God. But really it's yira, which is awe or seeing. And it means to be concerned, to act only in a way that is appropriate to the glory of God. Meaning that if you imagine or are experiencing the glory of God, the profound nature of the divine, how would you act? Acting in that deep, honorable and respectful manner, to honor the glory of God, to be in that glory, and to be seeing others in that glory. And this is not out of concern for oneself, meaning not about how one is concerned one might be perceived by others, but rather it is from this great love of God. Because we love God, we're so connected, or we're in such a yearning state of emunah, that all this love flows towards God being the creator and having a divine plan, and for us to be in alignment with that, will, and to be acting out of honoring that, and to be respecting that, and being an example of how to live in that way. In general, the Baal HaSulam and the Rebbe Zatzal held that we need to work for a living and learn Torah during our free time. In general, the Baal HaSulam, Rav Yehuda Ashlag, and the Rebbe Rav Baruch Ashlag held that we need to work for a living. We need to work for a living and learn Torah during our free time. So very clear communication and opposition to what is known as the kollel, where people are paid to learn Talmud in certain Orthodox communities. The Rebbe says the opposite. We need to work for a living and learn Torah during our free time. I think this supports the importance of being in the world, the importance of having being grounded in the world and having to pay for one's lifestyle, and not to be a monk and not to be in kollel, not to be disconnected from the working world, the everyday person's world, and to be learning Torah during our free time. That is what we're drawn to do with our free time. In our generation, it is necessary to learn Kabbalah. I can say straight out and undiplomatically that today we have no chance of spiritually fixing ourselves through only the outer aspects of Torah. Right? So again, another very clear message of the importance of learning Kabbalah. In our generation, it is necessary to learn Kabbalah. I can say straight out and undiplomatically that we have no chance of spiritually fixing ourselves and the world, I'm adding that, through only the outer aspects of Torah, only through the Chumash, the Mishnah, the Gemara, the Talmud, the Halacha. All of these are considered the outer aspects of Torah, and in the Pnimiyut, the inner aspect, is the Kabbalah. And the Rav is saying that there's no way we're going to spiritually fix ourselves or the world without learning the inner aspects of the Kabbalah, of the Torah, which is the Kabbalah. The essence of Geulah, redemption, is only one thing: attaining union with God. This is the subject of Kabbalah. Straight to the point, the essence of Geulah, redemption from the world of exile that we're currently living in. The essence of redemption is only one thing. It is attaining union with the divine, union with God, union with the oneness that is flowing through all existence. That's the only thing that the redemption is about. And this is the subject of Kabbalah. The subject of Kabbalah is attaining union with God. Very, very direct and straightforward. I saw that for the Rebbe Zatzal, spiritual learning and spiritual work go together hand in hand. When learning Torah, we can either be connected only to the information of the Torah, or we can work to direct our hearts to God enclosed in the Torah. I saw that for the Rebbe, spiritual learning and spiritual work go hand in hand, right? So there's learning, spiritual learning like we're doing, and there's spiritual work, which is the actual transformation, the transformative work, the developmental work of choosing God, choosing to be awakened and aware of the divine presence, of the sacredness of each moment, of the great mystery, choosing to give our attention to that as much and as often as possible, along with the learning, the spiritual learning, which is learning the Kabbalah and learning other spiritual teachings. So the learning and the spiritual work go hand in hand. When learning Torah, we can either be connected only to the information of the Torah, to the knowledge, the information of the Torah, of the spiritual teachings, or we can work to direct our hearts to God enclosed in the Torah. Meaning that while we're learning Torah, we're not just interested in the information, but we're piercing through the information and the words to feel God enclosed in the teachings. To direct our hearts, to open our hearts to feeling God in the teachings, in the words. And I think maybe that's why in some of the previous passages, for example, the Rav said that every word in the Torah is a spiritual emanation, something like that. So that's connecting to this like intention of feeling God enclosed in the Torah, in the words, in the letters, in the book, in the paper, everything that we're actually working to feel and direct our hearts to God hidden within the spiritual teachings that we're studying. That is doing the spiritual work along with the learning, the spiritual learning. Final passage, the Kabbalah of the Bala Sulam guides us in our spiritual work. The Bala Sulam unified the way of the Baal Shem Tov with the way of the Ari. Therefore, this Torah has great power. So the Kabbalah of the Bala Sulam, Rav Yehuda Ashlag, guides us in our spiritual work. Right? This is the Kabbalah of Rav Ashlag. It guides us in our spiritual work. This is because the Bala Sulam unified the way of the Baal Shem Tov, the father of Chassidut, with the way of the Ari, Reb Isaac Luria, the father of Kabbalah, more or less, and he unified these two ways. So Chassidut and Kabbalah, like straight Kabbalah and Chassidut, he unified them. And therefore, this particular Torah, this particular spiritual teaching of Rav Yehuda Ashlag, of the Bala Sulam, has a great power to help transform our consciousness, to help direct our hearts towards God's unity, to more and more let go of the sense of separation, separate consciousness, and come more and more and more into unity consciousness, feeling everything as an extension of the divine, us as an extension of the divine, and everyone as an extension of ourselves, and therefore becoming givers because we're full of the light, and thus we want only to give, we need not to receive. So therefore this Torah, this spiritual teachings of Kabbalah have very great power. Okay, have a wonderful night, and we'll see you tomorrow.